Hey there, tractor lovers and curious minds. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something super special. It's a world full of miniature American tractors that you probably didn't even know existed. We're talking about tiny, powerful machines that changed the game for farming and machinery history. Some of them are so quirky and cute, you'll have a hard time believing they were real. So buckle up and get ready because we're about to explore 10 mini tractors from the good old USA that you won't believe ever existed. Stick with us and let's take this nostalgic journey together. Starting with number 10, we have a real hidden gem from the post-war boom, the Lawnbow Loafer. This quirky little machine emerged during the innovative and sometimes downright eccentric era following World War II. And let me tell you, it's one of the earliest and most bare-bones attempts to bring riding mower convenience to the average American homeowner. Most experts agree it likely showed up sometime in the late 1940s or very early 1950s, though concrete details are still hard to come by, which only adds to its mystique. Now picture this, a tiny air-cooled Briggs & Stratton engine, maybe just 2 or 3 horsepower, bolted onto a homemade-looking steel frame. No bodywork, no frills, just a steering wheel, a seat, and an exposed engine driving a basic cutting deck. Honestly, it looked more like a backyard science project than a polished product. Weighing under 200 pounds, it was super light, but that didn't exactly make it stable. Safety features? Forget it. Creature comforts? Nope. This machine had one job, to let you ride instead of pushing a mower around your growing suburban lawn. And back then, that was a game changer. There were no fancy attachments, no headlights, not even a hood. But still, it sparked a revolution. It gave homeowners a taste of the future, and in doing so, carved out a unique spot in lawn equipment history. Today, finding a Lawnbow Loafer is like unearthing buried treasure. Collectors of rare and vintage lawn tractors go absolutely wild for one of these. It's not just a mower, it's a milestone, a pure nostalgic reminder of how the riding mower era truly began. Runner-up at number 9 is none other than the legendary John Deere 110. Introduced to an eager crowd back in 1963 at Deere's Horicon Works in Wisconsin, this wasn't just another small tractor. Well, no. This was John Deere's official debut into the lawn and garden tractor world, and wow, did it make an entrance. With its dependable 8-horsepower Kohler K181 air-cooled engine, though a few early prototypes did toy with Tecumseh power, the John Deere 110 was a machine built with care, precision, and a whole lot of green and yellow pride. And let me tell you, it looked the part too. That classic John Deere color scheme wasn't just branding, it was a promise of quality. Weighing in around 600 pounds, this wasn't some flimsy mower, this was a compact powerhouse. But what truly made the 110 shine was its vision. John Deere didn't just build a tractor, they created an entire system. Whether you needed a rotary tiller, a snowblower, a front blade, or a sturdy cart, the 110 had an attachment for the job, all designed to work together seamlessly. It was a dream machine for the serious suburban homeowner who wanted more than just grass cutting. They wanted John Deere reliability, performance, and that unmistakable prestige. And let's not forget those early round fender models. Now beloved collector's items, with their smooth, variable speed drive system controlled by a single intuitive lever. No gears to fumble with, just simple stepless control. It was ahead of its time, and it showed. The John Deere 110 didn't just sell well, it redefined what a garden tractor could be. It launched a green and yellow dynasty and became a cornerstone of American suburban history. Today, it remains one of the most collected and cherished garden tractors ever built, and honestly, it deserves every bit of that legendary status. At number 8, it's the legendary Wheelhorse Suburban. Now, this is a name that truly captures the heart and soul of the classic American garden tractor. Just saying Wheelhorse sparks a wave of nostalgia for anyone who grew up around the hum of small engines and the scent of freshly cut grass. And the Suburban line, oh, it wasn't just a tractor, it was a movement. The story really kicks off with the early RJ models, but it was the Suburban series, like the 500, 550, 551, and a whole parade of variants through the late 50s and swinging 60s that sealed Wheelhorse's place in backyard legend. These little beasts were often powered by the rock-solid Kohler K series, or Tecumseh air-cooled engines, starting off with humble 4 to 5 horsepower and later climbing to a more muscular 8 horsepower and beyond. But here's what made the Suburban a true workhorse. It was built tough. We're talking thick steel frames, cast iron axle housings, and transmissions that could probably survive a small meteor strike. For For its size, it had real heft, and that meant serious durability. Designed with the suburban homeowner in mind, the Suburban was more than just a mower. It cleared snowy driveways with ease, tilled gardens like a champ, hauled firewood and mulch without breaking a sweat, and looked great doing it. With a growing lineup of rugged attachments, Wheelhorse led the way with features like the Tachomatic quick hitch system, a clever lever-based setup that lets you swap out implements in minutes, no tools required. Now that's innovation. The controls were simple, the layout was smart, and maintenance, a breeze. It was everything a homeowner needed and nothing they didn't. Over time, these tractors saw model changes, cosmetic updates, and even more upgrades. But the soul of the Suburban remained. Today, you'll still find these machines rumbling along, working hard, or shining proudly at vintage tractor shows. The Suburban didn't just survive the decades, it defined them. And for collectors and fans alike, it's more than metal and rubber. It's a piece of American backyard history. Coming in at number 7, it's the Allis-Chalmers Homesteader 8. Now, here's a machine that captures a fascinating moment in American tractor history. In the late 1960s and early 70s, as suburban neighborhoods blossomed and lawns stretched wider, Allis-Chalmers made a bold move. Known for their heavyweight farm tractors, they turned their attention to the booming garden tractor market, and the Homesteader 8 was one of their standout entries. This little workhorse was more than just a mower. It was a symbol of shifting times. Built tough, with the same grit you'd expect from Allis-Chalmers, it came equipped with a sturdy frame and dependable components. Under the hood, you'd usually find an air-cooled Briggs & Stratton engine, pushing out between 8 to 10 horsepower. Not massive, but just right for a suburban warrior. And it wasn't just about cutting grass. The Homesteader 8 was designed to do so much more. With mowing decks that spanned 32 to even 36 inches, it made quick work of larger lawns. But the real magic? The attachments. Snow blowers, plow blades, rotary tillers, you name it. This machine was made for all seasons. The operator's station? Simple and practical. No fancy bells and whistles here. Just a no-nonsense setup focused on getting the job done. And that unmistakable Persian orange paint? It wasn't just for show. It tied this garden tractor to a proud agricultural legacy. While you don't see them as often today, the Homesteader 8 holds a special place in vintage tractor lore. It was Allis-Chalmers' heartfelt answer to the suburban homeowner's growing needs, and it did it with rugged charm and a whole lot of purpose. At number 6, we're stepping into history with the legendary Cub Cadet Original. Launched with a whole lot of excitement by International Harvester back in 1961, the Cub Cadet Original wasn't just another garden tractor, it was a bold, purpose-built machine that marked IH's powerful entry into the fast-growing world of high-quality, heavy-duty garden tractors. Now, when we say original, we're talking about the very first models, before the numbered legends like the 70 and 100 came along, and what a way to begin. This machine was powered by a tough little 7-horsepower Kohler K1601 engine, handpicked for its reliability and muscle. But here's the real kicker. IH didn't treat this like a lightweight lawn toy. Nope, they overbuilt it. On purpose, engineers brought the same design mindset they used on the big Farmall tractors, the workhorses of American agriculture, and scaled it down for the suburban backyard. Think heavy-duty channel steel frame, cast iron transmission, front axle, and differential, plus a shaft-driven drivetrain. That's right, no flimsy belts here, just solid, direct power from engine to wheels. The result? A mini beast that weighed in at a hefty 450 to 500 pounds, without fuel or attachments. But this machine wasn't just about brute strength, it had a job to do, and it did it exceptionally well. Whether it was mowing lawns, plowing snow, or digging into the soil with a moldboard plow or tiller, the original handled it all like a champ. And of course, you couldn't miss that classic IH yellow and white paint job. It gave off real Farmall vibes. Clean, confident, and ready to work. Customers instantly connected with it, especially those who already trusted IH for their full-size tractors. The Cub Cadet Original didn't just perform. It set the standard for what a garden tractor could be. And more than 6 decades later, collectors still treasure these first-run models, not just for their toughness, but for what they represent, the beginning of a legendary legacy. It wasn't just a tractor, it was the start of something big. Rolling in at number 5, it's the rugged, reliable, and unforgettable Pennsylvania Panzer. From the mid-1950s all the way through the 1970s, this beast of a garden tractor made its mark, changing hands between manufacturers but always staying true to its tough, no-nonsense roots. Originally built under the Pennsylvania name and later by True Temper, the Panzer earned a solid reputation for being durable, dependable, and just downright cool. What really made the Panzer stand out? For starters, its rugged automotive-inspired transmission system. That's right, some models borrowed real car components, giving them an edge when it came to pulling power and durability. These weren't just weekend toys, they were workhorses with attitude. Under the hood, you'd typically find a solid air-cooled engine, usually a Kohler or a Briggs & Stratton, ranging anywhere from 7 to 16 horsepower depending on the model. That's more than enough muscle for mowing big lawns, pulling rollers, or even digging in with a plow or harrow. And the design? Oh, it's iconic. Picture this: a bold, forward-placed engine, a stout channel steel frame, and a silhouette that just screams built to last. Some versions even had these quirky fender styles that made them stand out in any tractor lineup. Fun fact. Some collectors swear that certain Panzer models still run like champs today, without ever having a full engine rebuild. Talk about long-term reliability. The Pennsylvania Panzer was more than just a lawn tractor. It was a mini tank built for real work. Whether you were managing a big yard, a garden, or a rural property, this machine got the job done without ever needing to show off. And today, it's a beloved gem among vintage tractor fans who treasure its unique engineering, long lifespan, and that unmistakable Panzer personality. Securing the number 4 spot is the legendary Jacobsen Chief. Now, here's a machine that doesn't just mow, it commands the lawn with power and prestige. Coming straight from the mines at Jacobsen Manufacturing, a company already known for building top-tier turf equipment for golf courses and commercial grounds, the Chief was their bold step into the homeowner world in the early 1960s. And wow, did they make an entrance! These garden tractors were no joke. Under the hood, most Chiefs were powered by the rugged Kohler K-Series single-cylinder engines, dependable workhorses offering 10, 12, or even 14 horsepower in the beefier models. That's more than enough grunt to tackle serious yard duties. Built like a tank and designed with care, the Jacobsen Chief was more than a mower. It was a symbol of quality. You could feel the commercial-grade DNA in every detail. Thick-gauge steel, careful welds, and engineering that said, yeah, I can handle that. But this wasn't just a brute. Jacobsen gave it brains and comfort too, from cushy seats to floating mower decks and smooth control layouts. The Chief made work feel less like a chore and more like a ride through your kingdom of green. And get this, these machines were ready for real work, plowing gardens, tilling soil, and even battling snow with blades and blowers. It was the Swiss Army knife of garden tractors. Fun fact, many collectors today are still on the hunt for a well-preserved Chief. Why? Because these tractors weren't just tools, they were investments. Durable, elegant, and a little bit fancy, they brought professional turf tech to the backyard. Yeah, long before it was trendy. So while Jacobsen may have moved away from the homeowner market, the Chief lives on, proudly polished, lovingly restored, and celebrated by those who know. When it came to garden tractors, this one was built to rule. Pulling strong at number 3, the Economy Power King. Living up to every syllable of its evocative name, this beast, later officially rebadged as the Power King, was born in the late 1940s under engineering products company, Epio. Imagine a tractor built like a tank, massive frame rails, thick gauge steel, and drivetrain parts you'd expect on a full-size farm machine. Slightly slower with pride, power came from big, torquey air-cooled engines, most famously Wisconsin blocks, starting around 12 horsepower and climbing into the mid-20s on later models like the 2414 and 2418. Steady, enthusiastic weighing in at well over 1,000 pounds, sometimes closer to 1,500 with ballast. The Power King had traction for days. It wasn't made for show, it was made for real work. Moldboard plowing, disc harrowing, cultivating, you name it, this tractor ate it for breakfast. Many versions even sported multi-speed gearboxes, 3 or 4 speeds, plus high-low range, and heavy-duty differentials straight out of automotive playbooks. Nostalgic, softer. The operator's seat? Spartan. The controls? No frills. This was a machine for serious homesteading and estate maintenance, not Sunday joyrides. It blurred the line between garden tractor and small agricultural tractor, hence the overbuilt reputation. Not lighthearted, curious. Fun fact, some enthusiasts still load these old Power Kings onto trailers and haul them to plowing matches. Proof that a no-nonsense workhorse never goes out of style. Coming in at number 2, it's the bold, the brilliant, the beautifully bizarre, the Bolens Ridemaster. Now this little machine was a total game changer. Picture this. It's the late 1940s. Most folks are still pushing walk-behind tractors through their gardens and riding mowers, practically unheard of, but then Bolens, always a step ahead, drops this mechanical marvel that straddles both worlds. And the result? Pure genius. The Ridemaster wasn't just a tractor, it was a revolution on wheels. Built on the backbone of Bolens' successful walk-behind models, it brought an entirely new concept to the table. Ride-on gardening, but not in the way you'd expect. This thing had a wild, articulated frame design, like something out of a science fiction comic. The front end, where the engine and drive wheels lived, could pivot independently from the rear section, which held the operator's seat and implement. It was like steering a tractor that could bend in the middle. Power came from rock-solid Wisconsin air-cooled engines, usually in the 3 to 6 horsepower range. That might sound modest today, but back then, it was just the right amount of grunt to handle a full day's garden work. And trust me, the maneuverability was off the charts. Thanks to that articulated steering, the Ridemaster could twist and turn through tight rows, glide between orchard trees, and sneak into cramped spaces where bulkier tractors wouldn't dare tread. It was compact, nimble, and packed with personality. But here's the real kicker. It could use nearly all the same attachments as Bolens' walk-behinds. Plows, discs, cultivators, seeders, sickle bar mowers, you name it, just hook 'em. Up to the front power unit and off you go. Instant versatility. Fun fact, the operator's experience on a Ridemaster? Totally unique. The steering was so different, it felt like you were dancing with the machine. Some users say it had more personality than tractors twice its size. The Bolens Ridemaster wasn't just ahead of its time. It defined its time. It gave homeowners and small-scale farmers a taste of riding power years before subcompact utility tractors became the norm. So whether you call it quirky, clever, or just plain cool, the Ridemaster earns its legendary status as one of the most innovative garden machines ever made. And claiming the #1 spot, it's the legendary, the unstoppable, the Farmall Cub. Now hold on to your hats, because this isn't just any tractor. This is a pint-sized powerhouse that changed the face of American farming forever. First rolled out by International Harvester way back in 1947, the Farmall Cub wasn't just a garden tractor. It was a revolution on 4 wheels. Unlike the typical backyard machines of its time, the Cub was built from the ground up to be a real farm tractor, just scaled down for the small family farm, truck gardens, and tight row crops. At the heart of the Cub was a purpose-built IHC60 engine, a 4-cylinder L-head liquid-cooled beast. That's right, while most garden tractors were humming along with single-cylinder air-cooled motors, the Cub showed up with farm-grade muscle, cranking out around 9 to 10 horsepower at the belt. But don't let that number fool you. This thing had torque for days and grit to match. It tipped the scales at around 2,500 pounds in base trim, way heavier than any typical garden tractor. And it felt every bit the farm machine it was designed to be. This wasn't something you just parked next to the rose bushes. It belonged out in the fields, getting dirty, doing real work. Now here's where the nostalgia kicks in. The Cub was built to replace draft horses. Think about that. It brought affordable, dependable mechanization to the American family farm, taking over jobs that once took teams of horses or grueling manual labor. Plowing, cultivating, planting, hay mowing. The Cub did it all. And oh, let's not forget the iconic Culti Vision design, an ingenious offset layout where the engine and driver's seat were shifted to the left, giving farmers a crystal clear view of their work. It wasn't just smart, it was downright brilliant, and it made tight cultivation a breeze. Transmission, smooth 3-speed sliding gear. Implements, plenty. And over the years, you could option it up with touch control hydraulics, electric start, lights, and more. The Cub just kept evolving and impressing through its staggering production run that lasted all the way until 1979. Fun fact, using a Cub just to mow your lawn? Yeah, it can do that, but that's like using a tank to swat a fly. This machine was made for serious work, and it earned its keep in fields across America for decades. Durable, versatile, iconic, and absolutely unforgettable. The Farmall Cub isn't just #1 on this list, it's the king of small tractors. And there you have it, folks, 10 mini American tractors that truly defy all expectations. From unique designs to powerful engines, these little machines left a lasting impact on farming history, and some are still highly treasured by collectors today. Which of these tractors stood out to you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your favorites. If you enjoyed this trip down tractor memory lane, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow tractor enthusiasts, and of course subscribe for more awesome content. Keep your engines running, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and keep your passion for tractors alive.